Ragnarok is the cataclysmic battle between the forces of chaos and those of order in Norse mythology, ending the world and killing most of the gods and their adversaries, leading to the birth of a new world. It has been claimed, however, that in pre-Christian Norse belief there was no rebirth after the fall of the gods. Ragnarok, fate of the gods, is also given as Ragnarok, twilight of the gods, and is the pivotal event that ends the mythic cycle beginning with the birth of the gods of Asgard, the Aesir, and the creation of the 9 realms of Norse cosmology. The gods established order and restrained the forces of chaos, but at Ragnarok, these forces break free, and even though the gods know they are doomed, they march to battle to save the world they have created. The gods fail and most are killed, including Odin, Thor, Tyr, and Heimdall, but order is preserved, and a new world emerges from the destruction of the old. Traditionally, since the 13th century, Ragnarok has been understood as the end of the 9 realms through dramatic climate changes, the breakdown of traditional values, and a final battle which destroys the present cycle of existence to birth a new one. After Ragnarok, the surviving gods return to the place where their city once stood, and the last surviving human couple repopulates the earth for a new age. This vision of Ragnarok is almost certainly influenced by Christianity, and it is possible that an earlier understanding of the event ended with complete destruction without resurrection. This claim is challenged, however, as the Norse myths were passed down orally prior to the advent of Christianity in the region and there is no written record of how Ragnarok may have once been understood. In the present day, the event is best known through popular media including a film, video game, and a TV series, all suggesting rebirth after death. Origin and sources. The story of Ragnarok is suggested through runestones dated to between the 10th to 11th centuries, notably the Gosforth Cross in England, Thorwald's Cross on the Isle of Man, and the Ledberg Stone in Sweden, and is only attested to in writing from the 13th century CE in the Poetic Edda and Prose Edda. The Poetic Edda is a collection of earlier Norse poems while the Prose Edda was composed by the Icelandic mythographer Snorri Sturluson, l. 1179–1241, from older sources and oral tradition. Norse cosmology and fate. At the beginning of time, there was only the world tree Yggdrasil and the misty void of Ginnungagap bordered on one side by the fires of the realm of Muspelheim and on the other by the ice of Niflheim. The flames of Muspelheim melted the ice of Niflheim, revealing the giant Ymir and the cow ꞉ᴜᴜ. ꞉ᴜᴜ licked at the ice and uncovered the god Buri, whose son Bor mated with the giantess Bestla, resulting in the birth of the gods Odin, Vili, and Ve. At this same time, Ymir fertilized himself and gave birth to the race of the Jotun, some of whom were giants. Odin, Vili, and Ve killed Ymir and most of his offspring and then created the 9 realms which Sturluson gives as Asgard, realm of the Aesir, joined to Midgard by the Rainbow Bridge Bifrost. Alfheim, realm of the elves. Hel, realm of those who died of illness or old age and then of most people. Jotunheim, realm of the giants and frost giants. Midgard, realm of the humans between Asgard and Jotunheim. Muspelheim, realm of fire, the fire giant Surtr, and Surtr's forces of chaos. Nidavellir or Svartalfheim, realm of the dwarves beneath the earth. Niflheim, realm of ice, snow, and mist near Muspelheim. Vanaheim, realm of the Vanir. These worlds existed in and about the roots of Yggdrasil, at whose top lived an eagle, and around the roots the serpent dragon Nidhogg, who gnaws at the tree. The eagle and serpent are kept in a constant state of enmity by the squirrel Ratatoskr, who delivers false messages between the two, insulting each other. While this drama of the tree's creatures plays out, the 3 Norns, the Fates, are also at work in the roots of Yggdrasil, weaving the destinies of all living things, including the gods. The Norse gods were not immortal, only exceptionally long-lived, and were kept young and healthy by the goddess Idun and her magical apples. Periodically, they would have to eat of the fruit to ward off old age and retain youthful vigor. The Norns decreed that this practice would continue and the gods would remain forever young until the coming of Ragnarok, which would be heralded by the death of the fairest of the gods, Baldr. Odin then mates with the giantess Hrindr for the sole purpose of engendering the hero god Vali, who grows to full adulthood in a day and kills Hödr to avenge the death of Baldr. Vali then assists the other gods in tracking down Loki, killing his son Narfi and tearing out his intestines, using them to bind Loki in a cave where a serpent drips burning venom on his head. Prior to Baldr's death, Odin had ordered some of Loki's other children, the wolf Fenrir, serpent Jormungandr, and the Jotun Hel, taken from their mother in the realm of Jotunheim. Jormungandr was thrown into the sea, Fenrir chained to a rock on an island, and Hel was sent to preside over the land of the dead below the realm of Nibelheim. Once Baldr dies and cannot return to life, the clock begins ticking toward Ragnarok when Loki's children, as well as their father, will break loose to attack the gods and the world of order. Baldr's death and Loki's children. Baldr is the son of Odin and the goddess Frigg. In the poem Baldur's Dreams, he has nightmares of some unseen doom to befall him, and Odin rides Sleipnir down to the realm of Hell and raises the spirit of a seeress who tells him Baldr will soon arrive there. Sturluson expands on this story in the Prose Edda to include Frigg having bad dreams concerning her son at the same time. She makes all things in the 9 realms, animate and inanimate, promise not to hurt Baldr but overlooks the mistletoe because it seems so harmless. The trickster god Loki finds out about the mistletoe and brings a sprig back to Asgard, where the gods are enjoying a game of hurling things at Baldr to watch them bounce off him harmlessly. Baldr's brother, the blind god Hödr, cannot see to join in the game, so Loki puts the sprig in his hand, directs his aim, and the mistletoe strikes and kills Baldr. The god Hermodr then rides Sleipnir down to Hel to ask Hel, queen of the dead, for Baldr's return. She agrees on the condition that all things weep for his death. Hermodr almost succeeds in this, but a giantess named Thok, who is actually Loki, refuses, and so Baldr must remain in the realm of death. The Twilight of the Gods. Baldr's death was understood to have already occurred during the Viking Age, c. 790, circa 1100, and people recognized they were living in the end times. Odin was thought to send his Valkyrie to claim the heroic dead from the battlefield as Einherjar, army of one, to feast and fight in Valhalla until the day they join the gods against the forces of chaos at Ragnarok. The goddess Freya chose her own warriors for her realm of ýᴏᴜʀ, presumably for the same purpose, and so anyone who fell in battle was understood to have been taken to an afterlife where they would fight again heroically before dying a second death with most of the gods. Although the stage was set for the end of the world after Baldr's death, life would continue as it always had until certain signs appeared signaling the imminent approach of Ragnarok. Skoll and Hati were Loki's sons and, like the wolf Garm who guarded the gates of Hell, are thought to have been Fenrir in the pre-Christian tales. The Fenrir character was later given his own story, but originally, it seems it was one great wolf who swallowed both sun and moon and may have been the guardian of the realm of death. Jormungandr, hurled into the sea as a small snake, has since grown into the Midgard serpent and rises from the depths, causing tidal waves while Fenrir breaks his bonds and howls at the gates of Hell, and she provides him with an army of the dead, their essence sucked from them by Nidhogg, who will follow Loki, also now free, into battle. Loki and his crew arrive at the battlefield of Vigrid with Surtr and his other fire giants either aboard the ship Naglfar or in another. Naglfar was a ship built of the fingernails of the dead and is given in the Völuspá as piloted by Loki but elsewhere by the giant ýᴏᴜʀ. Surtr wields a sword brighter than the sun as they come ashore at Vigrid and are met by Odin and the other gods of Asgard along with the heroes of Valhalla and, possibly, those of ýᴏᴜʀ, though this is speculative. There is also no mention of the Valkyrie at Ragnarok, but it is assumed they would fight alongside their king, Odin, and their close associate, Freya. Odin is killed by Fenrir, who is then killed by Odin's son Vidar. Thor kills Jormungandr but succumbs to the serpent's poison after taking only 9 steps after the battle and falls dead. Loki and the god Heimdall kill each other, Freyr is killed by Surtr, Tyr and Garma wind up killing each other, and the gods Mani and Solveig are slain by Skoll and Hati. Surtr sets fire to the world with his sword and the 9 realms fall in flames, ending the cycle of life that began with the gods' act of creation. Conclusion. Survivors of the cataclysm include the goddesses Frigg, Freya, Sif, Idun, Thor's daughter Thrud, Thor's sons Magni and Modi, Hermodr, Aegir, Odin's sons Vidar and Vali, and a few others. No survivors are given for the forces of chaos. It is assumed that Loki's daughter Hel falls with her realm in the conflagration, as no mention is made of her afterwards. Baldr, his wife the moon goddess Nanna, and Hödr are released from Hel, also suggesting that the queen of the dead no longer has power over her subjects. The world is reborn as described in the Völuspá. The gods will visit the area where Asgard's city once stood, finding the gold game pieces they used to play with in the grass, and they will remember what was and tell stories of the heroic past for a new present. 2 humans, Lif and Lifthrasir, have survived Ragnarok by hiding and now come forth to repopulate the earth, and a new cycle of life is begun. This vision of the rebirth of the world following Ragnarok includes the palace known as ýmortal, a hall more beautiful than sunlight, on the plains known as ýᴜᴜʀ, where they first meet after the battle, which will bear harvest without labor, in a world where all sickness will disappear. Völuspá, stanzas 57-61. Modern-day scholars have noted the similarity between this tale of rebirth and the concept of a new heaven and new earth from Christianity, and some claim it is a later reimagining of an old myth that ended in death and destruction with no hope of renewal. However Ragnarok may have been initially envisioned, this is the version that was retained because it offers hope in a world of uncertainty. This is the vision of Ragnarok currently popularized through the game God of War, the film Thor, Ragnarok, and the Norwegian TV series Ragnarok, which reimagines the gods of Asgard as teenagers battling the giants in the form of big business, pollution, and climate change. Although the TV series is ongoing, it is expected to follow the paradigm of the myth in which order triumphs over chaos and good over evil even in the darkest of times.